After more than 15 years, Nissan has finally released a new Frontier pickup truck. But was it worth the wait? That's the question we're going to answer. Jared here with CarBuzz.com, and for the first time since 2004, that's right, 2004, there was an all-new Nissan Frontier pickup truck. This is the 2022 Frontier. Nissan has sent us the most rugged Pro-4X trim level, which is why we've taken it to the Ocala National Forest to see how it handles some off-road. Let's hop behind the wheel and put it to the test. The last generation of Frontier was one of the oldest vehicles on sale, lasting from the 2004 model year all the way up to 2021 with no major overhauls. And for most of its life, you could get it with two engines. There was a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, or you could get it with a Stone Age 4-liter V6. But right at the end, Nissan decided to preview an all-new engine in the Frontier without really changing anything else, and that's the engine that we have under the hood of this new Frontier. It's now a 3.8 liter V6 producing 310 horsepower. That's a really good amount that Nissan says is actually class-leading in the mid-size segment. The torque is pretty good too, at 281 pound-feet. And praise the automotive gods, because the outgoing 5-speed automatic transmission that you used to get in the Frontier is gone, buried in the ground. Nissan now mates this to a new 9-speed automatic transmission that is much improved. Sadly, there's no manual transmission option available, but I don't think too many people are really buying manual pickup trucks anymore, so I don't see it as too big of a loss. I can't stress how big of an improvement this new engine is. It achieves 18 miles per gallon in the city, 24 on the highway, and 20 combined. That's with 2-wheel drive. That's actually better fuel economy than you used to get from the 4-cylinder Frontier. Those numbers go down in one each category with 4-wheel drive, meaning that the Frontier is not quite as efficient as some of its rivals. The Chevy Colorado, Ford Ranger, GMC Canyon, Toyota Tacoma all get better fuel economy than the Frontier, but the Nissan is at least more efficient than the Jeep Gladiator, which is very thirsty. And if we compare the towing capacity, which is a max of 6,720 pounds, here on the Frontier, that is also below a lot of the other mid-size competition, but this can out-tow the Gladiator and the Honda Ridgeline, which is not really built for towing. But although the drivetrain is all new, the bones underneath this new truck aren't as fresh as I would have hoped. The platform is still based on a modified version of the outgoing Frontier, meaning that the ride is still very truck-like and firm, and there are some other things that sort of carry over from the outgoing Frontier. Chief among which is the steering. It's a hydraulic rack and pinion, so you do get some pretty good feedback out of it, but oh my god, it's heavy. I'm doing a turnaround here and if you skipped the gym, you skipped your arm day, don't worry, you will get that workout when you just hop in your pickup truck to head home. I really wish Nissan would have made it a little bit lighter, a little bit more assisted. It just makes maneuvering in the Frontier a little bit of a pain. So that's how the Frontier kind of stacks up against the other mid-size competition, but we came out to the Ocala National Forest to figure out how the Pro-4X trim gets on when you try to off-road it. So let's discover how it off-roads. You can also get a Pro-X trim level of this car. It's like basically the same features, but you get rear-wheel drive instead of 4-wheel drive. The Pro-4X comes standard with an electronic rear differential. You get Bilstein off-road shock absorbers and steel underbody skid plates, which come in handy if you take any big bumps while off-roading. If you only get the Pro-X, not the Pro-4X, you still get the suspension, you just don't get the locking rear diff or the skid plates underneath. After spending some time off-road with the Frontier Pro-4X, I'm fairly pleased with it, but I'm not going to say that this is the best off-roader in the class. I think the Jeep Gladiator and the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro are much more capable. This kind of lines up with something like the Ford Ranger FX4, but I do think that even an option like the Colorado ZR2 is more rugged if you're doing some crawling or mudding or anything more aggressive like that. But if you live in an area like I do, the Ocala National Forest, We've just got smooth access roads that are a little bit rutted. I think the Bilstein shocks do a really nice job of keeping this truck stable. We've gone over some pretty big bumps today, some pretty big ruts and puddles and things like that, and the suspension does a very nice job absorbing all of that. Is the Nissan Frontier the ultimate off-road truck? Absolutely not, but I think it looks aggressive enough and adds just enough capability to make this trim level worth the money. Now that we're done driving the Frontier, I've pulled over so that we can check out the interior, but before we do, now is a great time to remind you to leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so that YouTube will alert you when we post new videos. Now back to the Frontier. Perhaps even more important than the changes under the hood, Nissan has completely revamped the interior and technology here on the Frontier, which is a good thing because remember, the last Frontier came out way back in 2004 when the Apple iPod was still a thing. Frontier now comes with a standard 8-inch touchscreen display, although we have the larger optional 9-inch screen. Now both of these units do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, making them far more modern than what you could get in the outgoing Frontier. This Pro-4X trim level that we're driving is the highest spec you can get on the Frontier, but even that doesn't come with leather seats as standard. It's part of an optional package. Now, if you get the cloth seats, you get these really cool red accents throughout the cabin. I don't know why they delete those if you get the leather, but it's just something to think about if you do want the leather seats. Now, I should note that these seats are Nissan's zero gravity technology, so they are very comfortable, much more comfortable than what you get in the Toyota Tacoma. I think that I would choose the Frontier over the Tacoma just for these seats alone. That's how bad the chairs are in the Tacoma, and the driving position is much better as well. Whereas I feel like I'm kind of sitting on the floor in the Tacoma, I feel a little bit more upright in the Frontier. The only issue with that is that this steering wheel here does tilt up and down, but it doesn't telescope in and out, making the driving position a little bit awkward, especially with that heavy steering that I mentioned earlier. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the cabin on this new Frontier came out. I would say it's middle of the pack in terms of interior quality, not the best, not the worst. There are some hard touch plastics and surfaces here, but there are some other nice softer surfaces as well. I think there are some new trucks coming out, namely the Ford Ranger, which we've already seen previewed for the 2023 model year, and the GM twins, the Chevy Colorado and GMC Canyon, are due for a refresh as well. Once those come out, the Frontier might actually start to feel old again, but as of right now, this interior is nice enough to at least be mid-pack in the mid-size segment. Nissan offers the Frontier as either a king cab with sort of tiny half doors, or you can get the crew cab configuration, which has these full 4 doors. Now, the Pro-4X only comes as a crew cab, which is fine by me because you really get a lot more space back here. You also get 5 seats instead of 4. That being said, the room back here is not great. I'm sitting very much upright in this seat. I don't have a ton of headroom or a lot of legroom. This is one area where the Frontier is a little bit weak compared to its competitors. In terms of bed configurations, all king cab versions of the Frontier are going to get a 6-foot bed, where the crew cab can either have a 5-foot bed, or if you get the SV trim only, you can get the crew cab with a 6-foot bed. Obviously, the Pro-4X only comes with a 5-foot bed. They all have a damped tailgate, making it very easy to open, and Nissan says that they've raised up the bed height to give you 7% more storage than last year's model. We're going to wrap up with the exterior, where the outgoing Frontier really looked its age. Remember, that truck came out way back in 2004, but this new one might be the most handsome vehicle in the midsize truck segment. We've got this chiseled front end. It looks especially aggressive here on the Pro-4X trim. Now, if you do opt for the Pro-4X, which is the most expensive trim, you do get some premium options here. You get LED running lights, LED headlights, LED fog lights. You also get this really cool grille with these lava red accents that look a little bit more orange to me. You also get this really nice underbody skid plate. That's practical if you're going to take the Frontier off-roading. Nissan offers the Frontier in several cool colors. You can get a tactical green, this really cool beige called Baja Storm, or this deep blue pearl that we have on my tester that I think looks really nice. Here on the side, you get 17-inch wheels as standard on the Pro-4X. We've got some optional beadlock style wheels. They're only $250 to get a la carte. I would totally do that for that little options. You can also add a ton of visual improvements, styling cues that are also functional as well from the Nismo catalog. So we have these Nismo running boards right here. Those are practical and very cool looking as well. We also have mud flaps here here on the side of the truck. There's tons of Pro-4X badging, including a little sticker here on the bed. We've also got this sport bar that's optional. It says Frontier here on the side. Nissan notes that this does not add any roll protection, but it does look pretty cool. Wrapping up here in the back, we have more telltale signs that we're driving a Pro-4X, including this Pro-4X badge right here. We've got more of those lava red that look more orange accents here on the Nissan badge. Our big Frontier label stamped into the bed. I think that looks really nice. And we have some accessories here, including this awesome bed step. You just kick it out like that, super easy to do, and then you can hop up in and grab stuff out of your bed. When it's time to put it away, you just kick it back up. It's super useful when combined with this nice handle. You just kind of pull that up and now you have a really good grab point to step up into the bed. I really like that Nismo has all of these accessories already for the Frontier, and the company says it's working on producing even more of those. So yeah, the Frontier is a very good looking truck. Honestly, I think it's the best looking truck, maybe apart from the Gladiator in this segment. So design-wise, Nissan did a really nice job here. So that was the 2022 Nissan Frontier. Pricing for the base rear-wheel drive King Cab model starts at about 28 grand. If you want a nicely equipped Pro-4X trim like this, you're looking at 37,000 to start, but ours has a ton of options on it. So you're taking it up to about $45,000 or even $46,000. Now the question is, would I pay that much for a Frontier? And the answer is, well, sort of. I think that the new compact trucks, the Ford Maverick and the Hyundai Santa Cruz, are great options if you don't need to tow, you don't need to go off-roading, and you're okay with a smaller bed. I think that the Frontier's improvements have put it ahead of the Tacoma for me just based on the seating alone. But as I've mentioned earlier in the video, you can get more capability from the Ford Ranger and the GM Twins. And then on the other side, you have the Jeep Gladiator, which offers more fun, better off-roading, and you also have the Honda Ridgeline, which is much more enjoyable to drive on the road, again, if you're not doing as much off-roading or towing. So that kind of puts the Frontier in a weird middle ground. I'm very happy with the improvements to it. If you're looking for a rugged, simple truck with some good technology, the Frontier definitely is that, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite in the midsize segment.